Welcome to Kollecting Kaos. My name is James, and this is my New Year's Eve show. Okay, that's all I've got. No, I've got more than that. I've got some things to show you. I've got the comics that I pressed, pretty much going to the end of the year. There's half a dozen of them that I don't have out here. I'm not going to worry about those. Might show them next week, probably not. Well, actually, there are a couple of them that I will show. I'm going to talk a little bit about the method that I've used to do the cover for Zorro #3. So we'll talk about that for a little bit. And maybe I'll pick something out to throw into the pile for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway if I ever get to that point. I don't know. Get a couple of subscribers, I lose a couple of subscribers. I get a couple, I lose a couple. It all balances out. I don't worry a whole lot about it. I think I'm going to go ahead and kick it off. Normally, I kick it off by talking about something, but I'm going to hang off on talking about what I want to talk about, which is the method I used for cleaning the Zorro #3. I'm going to do that a little bit later. So let me just go ahead and show you what I pressed for this week, starting with DN Agents #19. Richard Howell did the cover on this 1985 comic. Trying to keep it from getting too much glare. Then we have beautiful Frank Bruner art on this Alien Worlds #6. Unfortunately, I never noticed this tape pull until I pressed it. So now I got to get another #6. So can you do? I want a better copy of it now. So I'll keep my eyes open. See when I'll get it. And that's from 1984. Here I have Pat Muselli. This is Fighting Navy #125 from 1966. My token Archie comic for the day is Lancelot Strong, The Shield. This is #1 from 1983, and it's when the Archie decided to do the Red Circle line, and yeah, that's pretty cool. I believe Alan Weiss did the cover on this. It's right there on my notes, Alan Weiss. We have gorgeous George Wilson cover on this Korak, Son of Tarzan. This is #14, and it's from 1966. Michael, Happy New Year to you too. You got here just in time to see the Adventures of Big Boy #101. This is a 1959 giveaway. I have no idea who did the cover on it, but it turned out pretty nice. It's like 4 pages, including the wrap, or 4. Yeah, it's a very small thing, and like I said, well, it was free. I mean, so. And it's all newsprint. The cover's newsprint as well as the interior. We have a Gru #8 from 1985. Of course, Sergio Aragonés did all of the Gru covers. That's his boy. And from Harvey Comics, I have First Love is that 29? No, 89. I can't read my own writing. but it's from 1952. No, 1962. I don't know who did the art on that one. Yes, Big Boy survived the pressing. Then we have Atari Force number 15 from 1985. Eduardo Barreto did the cover on that. Classics Illustrated Junior number 566-576. Clumsy Hands, L.B. Cole cover and interior art. And the neat part about this, I have an earlier one, but I decided to show this one because there was a tear from here going all the way down to here, and I used homemade rice paste to seal that tear. No Tingujo paper, no anything else, just rice paste. And I'm going to go ahead and take it out and show you. If I can, you might be able to see some of the tear, but look how it's supple. You can't, it's not going to break. I was surprised it came out that good and that it survived this long. I did that about, it's been a year and a half ago now. And I had lost that comic. I didn't know where it was. So that was kind of cool. Let's see what's next. We've got, a Paul Frick cover. Troll Lords number 6. And this actually goes into the database I'm working on. It goes in box LB6, I believe. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. Yeah, I like Troll Lords. That's cool stuff. Put that over there. And we've got Liberty Meadows number 24. Frank Cho did the art, of course. And that's from 2001. Next up, it's really shame about this comic because this comic is so nice. Kenneth, glad you could stop in. Happy New Year to you. This is Walt Disney's Comics and Stories number 171, Carl Barks cover. And this would be a high-grade copy if it didn't have this crease going right down the middle of it. But if it weren't for that crease, this would be a high-grade copy, no question about it. But it isn't, so it's not. This is from 1954, so it's almost as old as I am, December 1954. Got another Walt Disney's Comics and Stories here. Also a Carl Barks cover. This one is high grade. And it's number 352 from 1970. Next we have Classics Illustrated number 53 from 1948. Henry Kiefer did the art, and this is a first print. Yeah, it is what it is. Adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters, number 4 from 1980. Good stuff. Parsonovich did the cover on that. Pretty much. Yep, pretty much goes from an 8 to a 4. The way I grade, I don't know what CGC would do. Don't really care what CGC would do. Next up, the last issue of Alien Worlds from PC Comics. This is Alien Worlds number 7. And Joe Chiodo did the artwork from 1984. Now, this isn't the last Alien Worlds comic. It's just the last Alien Worlds published by PC. Next, we've got a Don Perlin cover on Fightin' Marines. This is Fightin' Marines number 146 from 1979. Graphic Man Comics, glad you could stop in. Happy New Year to you. We have another Korak, Son of Tarzan. This is number 30 from 1969. George Wilson did the cover on this one also. Dell 4 Color, number 380. Raggedy Ann and Dandy. This is from 1952. Dan Gormley did the cover on that. I think he did the interior art also. And Gru number 7 from 1985. And I changed my notes. So I changed my notes. There's Super Richie, number 7. And in case you're wondering where my Super Richie number 1 went, it's in line waiting to get pressed. This is from 1972, and it's number 7. Warren Kramer probably did the artwork, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. Oh, I love Gold Key, Dell, yeah, Harvey, Archie. It's all good. Everything's good. Comics are good. Here we go. Here's Tarzan number 254 from 1976. And the art on the cover was done by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. And he's pretty good when it comes to Tarzan. I got to admit, I like his stuff. Well, I like his artwork anyway. So. And I just showed you Alien Worlds number 7, which is the last PC issue. And here's Alien Worlds number 8, which is an Eclipse comic from 1984. And John Pound did the artwork on that cover. I don't know. He might have. I don't remember much about watching Johnny Carson because I usually couldn't stay up that late. Not that my parents wouldn't let me. It's just my eyeballs wouldn't let me. Gee, I don't know who did this cover. This is Bernie Wrightson, Master of the Macabre, number 2 from 1983. Guess who did the cover? If you guessed Bernie Wrightson, you're correct. Oh, I have another Korak here. Here's another Korak, number 27. Another George Wilson, beautiful George Wilson cover. Also from 1969. Which ends the notes. That ends the notes for those. Now, I had a guy bring me some small stack of comics but I'm going to show those in a few minutes. First, I want to show you what one of the people that's local that I press comics for and that I used to work with gave me for Christmas. He gave me a Hot Wheels, Action Comics Hot Wheel. Very cool. I really like getting that. That's going in the collection. That goes in the Superman collection, not in the Hot Wheels collection. I'm selling off my Hot Wheels collection. He got me a 3D Superman puzzle. I might actually open that. I haven't decided yet. Marvel Classics Comics, number 9, Dracula. It's a shame I sold off all my other Marvel Classic comics. I'm just going to have to start collecting again. And this I was really happy to get. He gave me this. Now, I thought I had a copy of this, but turns out that it was something that was destroyed in either the flood of 2007 or the flood of 2024. But the reason I like it is well, that, and it has the TSR card insert. These don't appear in the regular card set. And a Star Wars card insert. So that's cool. Like I said, this is what's really cool about it. So, previews. That's the Diamond Comics. Advanced Comics did the one for Capital Distribution. So, and he also brought Sunday, I think, Monday. I don't remember which. I think it was Monday. He brought me some comics that he thought I might be interested in, and a couple of comics that he wanted me to press. One of the comics he wanted me to press was A Journey into Mystery, number 112. That is currently in the press. I wanted to work right on that right away because that it has spine roll that needed to be removed. So I was a little more careful with that. And the other one he brought me, I was impressed. I was ready to buy this I was ready to give him like $40 or $50 for this, even though all he wanted was press. This is Katie Keene number 37. Problem is I was going through it. That's a Bill Wagon cover, by the way. As I was going through it, something didn't work out right. Something was missing. It just didn't seem right. And I looked through it, and I looked through it, and I went through, and I counted the pages. There are eight pages to the center. And I counted them again, and I counted them a fourth time. Still, something didn't look right. And then I realized, wait a minute. It's a 40-page comic. 36 pages on the interior, and the cover they count, which is 9 interior leaves. So it's got 9 wraps, but this one only has 8 wraps. It's missing the centerfold. And when I told him it was missing the centerfold, he said, well, do you want it? And I told him, not really. I mean, I'd like to have a full, complete copy. He says, how about $10? And I went, yeah, okay. Because if I can find a centerfold for it, it's automatically a $50 book. I don't know why. 36 is like $20. 38 is like $20. 37 is like $50 or up. And it doesn't make any sense to me because there's nothing special about this comic. So it doesn't make any sense. So let me show you what else he brought. And I went ahead and picked these up. I didn't pay a whole lot for them. I'm not going to tell you what I paid for them, but I didn't pay a whole lot. And some of them I picked up just because I wanted to work on. That's possible. If possible, mermaids or bikinis. Uh, I don't know. The first one is a My Love #8 from Marvel. This is from 1970. And the reason I wanted this was that John Buscema cover. And I don't have a whole lot of his romance stuff that John Buscema did. So getting that was kind of a plus. I don't really collect My Love. I don't really collect Marvel comics, except for a few titles. But I do like John Buscema's art. And that's why I went ahead and said yes to that one. Now, this is a Freak Brothers, Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers #1, first print. Unfortunately, if you look at the bottom here, it's kind of messed up. So it's not worth the $60 or $70 that it should be. It's worth maybe 10. Next, More Fun Comics #117. This is from 1946. Harry Boltinoff did the cover on that one. Yeah, it needs some restoration or some conservation, so that's why I went ahead and picked that up, because, yeah, I think I can make it look a whole lot better. We got Johnny Mac Brown #2, and I do like Western comics. Unfortunately, it has these problems up here, which means it's not worth the $20 or $30 it should be worth. It's only worth about 10. Now, this is issue #2 from 1950. The first issue was 4-color, Del 4 color, #269. They did that a lot. They do one or two in 4-color, and then they start it with #2 or #3 or something like that. So it's #2, but really it's #1, if that makes any sense. Here's another one I got just so I could do a conservation project on it. This is True Comics #78. It's from 1949. And as you can see, it definitely needs some help. Same thing with this next one. It needs some help, so I went ahead and grabbed it. And it was selling it as a lot, so I kind of had to pick up everything. And that's a Perfect Crime #16 from 1951. And it needs some help too. Now, I was ready to pass on all these comics, to be honest with you, until I got to the last one. And I've heard about this comic. And I've read about this comic. This is the first time I've ever had one or seen one. It's Lil Abner and the Creatures from Drop Outer Space from 1965. This, it was done by Bob Lubbers, and it's an art promotional comic for the Job Corps. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't understand why it's so high, unless it's because of her mermaid costume. More, as Michael said, bikinis. But that's the main reason I got that whole stack. And this next item he just gave me. He said he wanted to see what I could do with it. And he knew I collected Treasury comics, and he thought he was doing me a favor. He didn't know I had a copy. Oh, this is in rough shape. It's in really rough shape. But I'm going to try to fix it up. Make it look better. And with the new way that I'm cleaning cleaning covers, with that new method that I used the other day on the Zorro, I can do a large-scale comic like that without a big problem. Leaf casting might be a problem. The rest of it shouldn't be a problem. And that's what I got this past week. That's what I picked up this last week. That went kind of quick. Of course, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I am going to do a giveaway. So far, what we have is a LB Cole Classics Illustrated Black Beauty, a third print Liberty Meadows #1, a Dave Stevens Alien Worlds #2. Diecast, Happy New Year, buddy. A Batman, Son of the Demon. Yes, I know this is the first appearance of Damian Wayne. Yes, I know it's a $100 book. Yes, I know it's almost perfect, but it's going in the stack of 1,000 subscriber giveaway if I ever get to that. And then Flintstone's Christmas Party. Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera #1. I'm going to throw that in, but I am going to press that at some point. And then I will be giving something else away, but I don't know what yet. I haven't decided what else I'm going to toss in there. Probably a poster or two. I was thinking, I lost it. I ran across this one. I thought, well, you know, I'll just toss that in. But then I thought maybe I should look at it first. And then I went, oh, no, I can't toss this one in because this one is mine. I have more copies of it, but this is the one that's in the best shape. So that one's mine. But I might see what else I've got. Felix, glad you could stop in. Happy New Year to you too. So yeah, that's more notes to get thrown over my shoulder. It's fun. Now, I want to talk for a few minutes about yeah, diecast, but I've had this channel for over 6 years. I'll get there when I get there. Okay, that's the best. Oh yeah, and one more thing that's the other thing that came in that little Christmas package he gave me. Yeah. Super duck, I guess. Yeah, I wanted to talk for a little bit about that method I used using the Mylar sheets. And when I ordered those Mylar sheets, they came in a tube like this, which is kind of nice. It's nicely packaged. And I bought them off Amazon. I got about 4 or 6 more in there. But some of the comments I got kind of confused me a little bit because they were saying, no, you need to wash them. You need to do a full immersion bath. But let's think about that for a minute. I put down the Mylar sheet. I wet it down with soapy water. Warm or at least room temperature soapy water. I put the cover or whatever paper item I'm going to do, I'm put down next. Then I spray it down again, get it nice and wet. Put the other Mylar sheet on it. So you've got plastic, water, or some type of liquid. Then you've got the paper, more liquid, and another Mylar. Well, that's kind of full immersion. So there he is, sales boy. Yeah, I definitely keep it moist when I put it between Mylar. So the more I do it, the more number of times I do it, the more liquid gets in there. And that allows me to go over it with that squeegee or whatever you happen to use, uh, to which helps to press the moisture or whatever you have into the comic and draw out the bad stuff. It's a win-win. When you do a full immersion, you kind of gotta, and you have to have the Hollytex down. Now, here's what I think is happening with the Hollytex. We put it down, we put the comic on it, we put another piece of Hollytex on top, and then we go back and forth with the water. The water flows over the Hollytex and moves it slightly, and I think that's what's pulling up the ink off the pages is the Hollytex. And I like Hollytex. I like using Hollytex. I don't want to use Hollytex, but I don't want it to take off the ink. But I think that's partially what's happening to us. Doing it the way I did it, there's no chance of ink loss, which I think I successfully showed. Of course, we'll find out for sure when I do this Lois Lane. But it's still a full immersion. You still have water. And I'm using less water. I'm using less fluids. So when I do, the reason I use tap water right now is because I was having to buy a gallon or more. I was going through a gallon or more of regular distilled water to clean one comic. Now distilled water is what, $1 a gallon, $1.25 now. I think Walmart's charging about $1.50. Walmart is spend more so they can live better. But it uses more water. The way I'm doing it with the Mylar, it uses less water. Figure maybe 60 to 120 milliliters of water, which is less than a cup. For the first time I do it, and then for the rinse, the same amount. And then I'm doing with the calcium hydroxide, I'm using about 40 milliliters for both sides, for the whole thing. And with the methyl cellulose, I'm using about 20 to 30 milliliters. So a whole lot less. When I do a bath in the tub, the tub bath, I'll use 60 milliliters of that calcium 60 twice. So I'm using 120 milliliters of that calcium hydroxide solution instead of the 40 that I'm using when I use the Mylar. And I'm using 60 milliliters of the calcium hydroxide instead of the 20 that I use when I do it with the Mylar. So it's saving on materials. Yes, it's messy. Yes, I got to figure out something. Probably going to go to the hardware store tomorrow and either buy 4 feet of gutter, if I can buy just 4 feet of gutter. And if I can't, then about 4 feet of 3-inch PVC pipe, and I'll cut it. So, yeah, that's my plan. And then I can mount, I've got a table, I can mount that to. Put some plastic of some sort on top of the table, make it nice and smooth, and then we'll be good. So that's my plan with that. But it's still giving it a full immersion. It still has water, paper, water. I don't know what the problem is. The most important thing is, for me, it works. May not be the same way everybody else is doing something, but for me, so far, it has worked on everything I've tried it on. It worked on the adventure comic cover I did. It worked on the first wrap of the adventure comic that I'm working on. It worked on the Zorro amazingly well, better than I had hoped, actually. And I still think if I had used more soap on it, done the soap thing longer, I think I could have gotten the stains completely out of it. So yeah, it's just hopefully it's an advance in the way we do things. Worked out great for removing the tannins. I was getting a lot of brown water out of that. I don't think you could see it in the video, but I definitely could see it. So, yeah, that's the way to go, I think, for me. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, that's the way to go. And the great part about it is I don't have to let it sit there. I can just work on it until it's done. So it actually takes less time because I don't have to let it sit. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think it's going to be good or not? The main thing is getting it to work. I had another problem last Friday night. Went to put a comic in the press, and the press was turned off. I hadn't turned the press off. I turned it off, turned it back on, nothing happened. Pressed the reset button, nothing happened. I went, crap. Came in here, ordered another press. And this is like my third press in 3 years. And ordered one that was more expensive and maybe a little better. And went back in to just do a cold press on the comic that I was going to press anyway. I was going to do it the same way, put it in the press and let it cold press instead of doing the heated, because that'll work sometimes. And as soon as I touched the press, as soon as I lifted the press up, it came back on. So now I have another press that's still in the box that I haven't opened. Yeah, I got a backup. So, another $200 and some down the drain. Stay away from the Vivor electronic presses. Just stay away from them. They don't last me very long. So, but then again, I'm running them continuously too. I'm doing 5 comics a day. So that's about it. That's my New Year's presentation. We can just sit here and talk. Tell me what you want to talk about. Yeah, I have coffee on one side, water on the other. If anybody ever wants to come on this show and be on this show, hit me up on Instagram, send me an email, put it down in the comments down below. I got no problem with that. I'll be glad to let anybody come on. Matter of fact, I'll let anybody come on right now if they want to. Let me go ahead and just stick it in here. Yeah, if you want to come on, hit the link and I'll add you in and we can talk a bit. And if not, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. And as you can see, I've got a few of the things that I use up here. Some of my reference materials, the big book from Overstreet, which they delayed printing on, and I can't get it till later this year. Oh, that would be fun. We'll have to consider that. Just give me a shout out. Let me know when, and I can have some Gold Key comics out. Yeah, you keep telling me to drink tea, not realizing I drink tea all the time. I keep tea in the refrigerator, but I don't sweeten it. I don't care for sweet tea, even if I do live in Texas. Here's Michael. I think that's the first time I've ever actually seen you. Michael Mayrind, we've known each other for a while now. He sends me comics. I send him comics. Sometimes I think I'm not sending him enough, and then I send him something big, and he goes, "What the hell?" And then he sends me a whole bunch of stuff. And hopefully I send him decent grades too.
I'm always surprised.
That's good. Under Dracula? Tough. It was my Christmas present. You can't have it.
Well, it ends up working the same way as to what my family ends up getting me as the Christmas present, and then whether I'll forward it on to you.
I always keep Christmas presents. I've got Christmas presents that I didn't want, and I still don't want them, but I keep them because they were presents.
Well, we
got another one. We got Dylan, Salesboy Comics.
Yep, we were in a different city, stopped into a kind of flea market, and I think my daughter had more fun trying to point out all the booths that had comic books in them than she did kind of looking for her own stuff. And she jokingly goes through and, sorry, not so jokingly goes through and says the way that she knows which comics to look for is she looks for the yellowed pages. So she starts with those and then tries to figure out if they're in the category that she thinks I'll like.
Tell her just look at the price tag. Just look at the original price on it.
Well, and she knows them to look for, 75 cents and under, right?
Yeah. Well, 75 cents. I mean, they made 75-cent comics in 1990.
And some of those I look for, but she also knows to look for the 25 centers too. And further down. But she also knows that I don't want her to spend any significant amount of her own money on there. Yeah. I have more fun going through the dollar bins than anything else.
Hey, I've gotten so much good stuff. 90% of my Tomb of Dracula comics came out of quarter bins.
Yep.
Yeah, 25 cents each, 5 for $1. That was back in the 90s. I don't think they do those anymore.
And I still complain that most of the time I find more things for you in the dollar bin than I find for myself.
Well, yeah, but then I like everything.
Exactly.
And I really like some of that weird stuff, like
Mutant Ninja Turtles Adolescent.
Yeah, radioactive hamsters and mean green dungaree gerbils or whatever it was. I don't remember.
Hey, I like your Lois Lane and Hawkeyes in the background there.
Yeah, both number ones. And then above it I have this book. Of course, everybody should have that. Comic book CPR, that's a good one to have. Overstreet Grading Guide. I thought about putting the first edition up there, but decided against it. And then stain removal. I have another one that maybe I'll put up there one day. That's always a good one to get.
Yep. I sign that out of the library every once in a while.
Well, I pretty much have a library. So, but, yeah, I said, there it is. First edition. This is when they were doing 100-point grading guide, which makes a whole lot more sense than a 10-point. I'm not a big fan of the 10-point grading system that has 18. It's a 10-point system. Why do you have 18 grades? Try to add Dylan back in here. No, he's still sitting in the dark. Are you in your vehicle, Dylan? Yeah, it looks like he's in his vehicle. So.
Well, if he's in the kind of Midwest and like Southeast Michigan, we're in the middle of snow and the upper 20s where we're supposed to stay for the next couple of days.
Yeah, it's gotten pretty cold down here. It was the last 3 mornings it's been in the 30s. Then it warms up into the 70s in the afternoon, so it's okay.
Well, yeah, it flashed up. It flashed up to the 50s right after Christmas, melted all of our snow, and then waited a couple of days and has now sent it all back to us.
Yeah. That's all right, Dylan. Yeah, I don't like cold. That's why I moved to Texas. And it gets cold here sometimes. Not very long. I mean, our winter, we get about 3 winters a year, and they last for 3 or 4 days. So it's not too bad. But I have a light jacket and that's it.
All right, so someone has decided they have to join me on the chair.
Oh, you got a cat sighting?
Yeah.
I got something for that somewhere.
This is Dexter.
I don't know. They keep moving stuff around on me. Dexter went, what the heck was that?
He did. And his favorite thing to do is to punch holes in cardboard boxes if they're on his level.
Oh, yeah. There's actually there's a reason they do that, and I don't remember what it is. But cats will claw at, like, furniture and cardboard. And it's almost like a nervous thing.
Yep.
So, that and don't leave a piece of paper on the floor, because that becomes a sandbox.
Our Dexter and Daisy are not too bad about that, but yeah, he'll start punching the edges of cardboard boxes.
Yeah, that's why I went to plastic tubs, but unfortunately, the ones that I like, they don't make anymore. But they were like a file folder, and comics fit in there perfectly. And I put those on the lower shelves, and then I put the vinyl corrugated plastic boxes on the next shelves, and then the cardboard would be at the top. So, but I don't have a cat that stays inside anymore since Delco disappeared. And Delco is the cat that's on the end of all my videos. At first, it was just a kind of a cool thing to do. Now I do it as a homage to him since he's no longer. I miss him. He was a good cat. He was ornery, so that's why I liked him.
Gee, what a surprise.
Yeah. And he quit clawing at my boxes after a while.
Well, he was content to be there.
Yeah. And then he decided he wasn't. He wanted to be outside. So I let him outside a couple of times. And then one day he just didn't come back. I don't know if he got picked up or if he got, I mean, this is Texas. He might have gotten shotgunned because they do kill cats around here, or a coyote he might have gotten into it with a coyote. You never know. Or one of the wild dogs we have in the area. They're not really wild. They're just, nobody owns them. They're strays. People drop off dogs and cats in the area all the time. And I've got like 8 or 9 cats outside on any given day. I just don't worry about them. One of my neighbors said, you can take them and get them fixed. There's a place that will fix them for $30 a piece. I said, I'm not going to have my snake and mice killers neutered and then not have any after something happens to them. I'm just going to let them breed and let them go and have, keep killing off the snakes and the rat. Well, they don't kill off the snakes so much as they kill the snake's prey. And then the snakes don't come around as much anymore. If the cats would just get the skunks to move out from under my house, we're a happy camper. But I have a family of skunks that lives under the house, and I've been trying to get rid of them for years, and they ain't going. They figure they're going to get rid of me before I get rid of them. But I got a trick for them. I talked to my landlord, and she said that I could do what I want, which is when they fixed the house, they left a gap about this all the way around the house, about that big. So I'm going to dig next to the foundation about a foot, and I'm going to put wire down and screw it into that metal that they have on the side, and then I'm going to bury it, and it'll be in an L shape, like this, where this will be against the house, and then the L will come out from the house, so they won't be able to dig up under it.
Okay.
And that way, if they leave, they won't come back, or if they leave, or if they don't leave, it'll stink up the place for a little while, and then after a while it'll bother me. So.
Well, the advantage of Michigan is that we've got our basements, and so there's no real digging underneath the house, but we do have to be careful of all the little holes for all the little things that can fit in.
Yeah.
And yes, we do have a skunk that will hang out underneath our deck every once in a while. I've noticed that if I clean things like, if I put things like cleaning stuff or like pine sol kind of underneath there, so it just kind of smells like a kind of clean thing for a little while, they don't particularly like that environment. So that might be something to try around the edge of your house too.
Skunk scram works also.
We didn't have very good luck with that. Either our skunk did not care, or we were just unwilling to put it on heavy enough.
Yeah, you got to use a good amount of it. That worked for a while, but then the cats go up under there, and when they do, they get rid of that stuff. So cats aren't helping. So it's a good thing to do. It works. The pine oil would work. Orange oil will work. Anything that's real strong would work. The problem is I can't get up under to where they are because there's no way to get to where my office is except for one area. So that's the area I'm going to have to do it in. And I've got that blocked off. They can't go in and out of that particular place. They have to go the long way out because I have some cinder or haydite blocks blocking those holes. And I thought about doing that all the way around the house, but that's expensive. That'll cost me more than the wire will. I only need about 50 or 60 feet of wire. That's not real expensive if you get the 30 or 36-inch wire. That's not real expensive. So it'll be some work, but it'll be worth it if it keeps the varmints out from under it. And I'll get like the 1/4-inch mesh, quarter or a 1/2-inch mesh, so that it'll be hard for them to get through it. That's a project for next year. Oh wait, that means I got to order it tomorrow. I was going to order it already, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Oh, we got some comments that I wasn't paying attention. Let's see. Happy New Year to Jackson Kirk. Graphics Man's Comics, of course. Yeah, pretty much. No, that was a coincidence. Yeah, that Super Richie #1. That's in the stack to be pressed. I put it in there this morning. That's why it's not up here somewhere. But like I said, I've got the oversheet price guide where you can't see it, and then the comic book conservation book, comic book CPR, overstreet grading guide, and comic book stain removal. And I'll put other stuff up there later on. I'm getting close to having all of the comic book price guides again. I need a few. I think this is the oldest one I have right now that's not a reprint. And this is the 3rd edition.
I think the change of angles and I think the change of background is kind of cool.
I like it. That's the oldest one I have right now, and I remember when that came out. Of course, that's not the one I had. The original 10 or 12 that I had are long gone. I have no idea what happened to those. I imagine they went away in a yard sale or something, or got tossed in the trash. I know a lot of my stuff disappeared like that. What I thought was cool was I used to have a couple of Sandy Koufax rookie cards. When I was a young, I was about 7 or 8, and we were trading baseball cards and stuff, and the guy had a Sandy Koufax rookie. I'd never seen a Sandy Koufax rookie. I had to have a Sandy Koufax rookie. So I gave him all my baseball cards for that one. Then I started collecting it again, got a decent collection. Somebody else, I saw another person that had one. I gave him all my baseball cards. I had 2 Sandy Koufax rookies. And then I put them in a book and forgot about it. Then later on, when I was a young adult in my, I guess my early 20s, I started collecting football and baseball cards, stuff like that. And I dug out those Sandy Koufax and stuck them in with the rest of them. Didn't think anything about it. Didn't really know how to take care of them at the time. Back in the early 70s, they didn't have card sleeves like they do now. There's all kinds of different ones now. But
that would have been the 1968 Tigers for me. Yeah. And I remember a plastic, like, locker, yeah. a little small plastic locker that had slots for each of the teams in it.
Yeah, they had stuff like that. But I took, and I joined the Army, and then one of my nephews started getting into baseball cards and football cards and stuff like that. And my mom said, I think your Uncle Jim has some. He probably wouldn't mind if I gave them to you. So she gave him these cards. And he's going through the cards, and he stops, and my sister said, I couldn't believe it. He stopped and he looked at one card and his mouth just hung open. I said, "Oh." I said, "What did he do then?" She said, he told me we had to go to the store. We had to go to the store that sold card supplies. And she said, "Yeah, we'll go in a couple of days." He said, "No, Mom, we need to go right now." And then he picked up the next card and he's, "Really, we really need to go." So she went, "Okay." And he had one of the cards with him. And the guy said, "What do you need him for?" And he showed him one of his ankles. "Oh, that's a pretty decent card. I'll give you $20 for it." But according to my sister, my nephew just laughed at him and said, "No way. Number one, they're mine, but they aren't really mine, so I can't sell them. And number two, I wouldn't sell them for $20 anyway, because I have an idea what they're worth." And this was back in the 90s. Okay. So I eventually learned about it. About 4 years after it happens, I find out about it. And I made a deal with him. He can have them. But if he ever wants to sell them, I get first choice. And we both decided that was fair. Because after all, my mom gave them to him. So they were his cards. I was not going to say no to that. But I wanted first choice if he ever decides to sell them. And then he decided he didn't want to go to college anymore. He wanted to join the military, but he had these college loans. So he put them up for sale. He tried to get a hold of me. He couldn't get a hold of me. So he just went ahead and put them up for sale and sold them. And he paid off his college loans. Didn't have a home, but that's how good a condition they were in. He was able to pay off his college loans, and he joined the Air Force.
Very good.
And when I finally saw him again, he said, "You're not mad that I sold those rookie cards, are you?" And I said, "What did you do with the money?" He said, "I paid off my college loans." And I went, "You paid them off?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Did you have anything left over?" He said, "No, it pretty much ate all of it." And I said, "Good." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Good, it helped you. If it helped you, I'm fine with it." Now, if he had said, "Oh, I had a party on the money and we did this and that and the other," I would have said, "You owe me." But I got something on my screen. It was bothering me because it was right under my nose, where my nose shows up on my screen. So yeah, he did good, and I don't regret him selling them.
I think it took me a few years to convince my kids that if they were running short and this was for like an experience or for extra education or something else, that my dad was a pretty good person to be able to go to get extra money from, that was going to be happy to help them out, even if it was going to be an international trip that they wanted to go to through school or something else, that my dad was kind of always willing to, do that. And, even my sister who hasn't had any kids of her own, in that same vein, those people want you to have those experiences. They don't want you to throw the money away, but they want you to have those experiences.
Yeah.
And if they can help, they do.
It's like I had about 90 long boxes of comics, and they ended up at my daughter's house. My son-in-law took them and sold them. And I know he didn't get anywhere near what they were worth because it had a full run of Preacher. And number one is like a $300 book or more. It had a couple of copies. It had a couple of the Batman Adventures. What was it? 14 first appearance of Harley Quinn. It had a couple of those in there. It had a couple of the first appearance of Deadpool, the first appearance of Cable. It had a bunch of good comics from the 80s and 90s in there. And I know he sold them cheap. Wasn't happy about it, but it did help him out. So
yep.
Still not happy about it, but it helped him out. So I'm I've never said anything to him about it, and I never will. Sure would like to have some of that stuff back. I had
All
a
right.
couple.
Well,
I had a couple of the platinum Superman 75s. One still in the original plastic, one out. Yeah, those are gone. So, oh well.
all right. Well,
Yeah,
my family's starting together for New Year's, so Happy New Year's to
we
you.
had something here from Jackson Royper. Sorry, I've been watching too many Warner Brothers cartoons. I have a question. Is it possible to watch too many Warner Brothers cartoons? I didn't think it was possible. So we're talking Bugs Bunny, Donald Duck, Daffy Duck, uh, you know, uh, yeah, uh, all those good ones. Yeah, you can't watch too many Warner Brothers cartoons. Yeah. Happy New Year, buddy. I think you were getting ready to leave.
I was waiting to say goodbye. Take care. Have a safe New Year.
You too. And we'll see you after the new year.
Yes.
You can leave without me removing you. It's not a big deal. Like anybody else wants to join, the link is in there somewhere. I don't think we're going to go for 2 hours like we did last week. I think that's going to be about it. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you all had a good. Don't make me pull out my 4 man things. my four giant sized man things. Anyway, I'll see y'all next year. Same time. I'll be here next Wednesday. We're going to go back to the Coffee with Chaos format. I'll dig another box of comics out of my stash and see what we've got. And who knows what I'm going to pull out. I don't know. In the meantime, everybody, have yourself a safe new year, and we'll see you Friday morning for my video that I drop whenever that is on Friday morning. And take care, everybody. Bye.